Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Oh, we're recording now?
Yeah.
Oh, make sure to leave this on like some other show we know. Welcome back to the Flyover State of Film, a special flyby because we saw something on Twitter that was trending, so we have to jump on that wave and try to get at least one more subscriber out of this bullshit that we do. As always, why I love movies with my co-hosts, my lovely, lovely people that I cannot live without. I got Brian at Hercules, Joe at Chendango, and TJ at TJ Dex. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Quarantine.
Good.
Day 27 or something. Whatever day it is.
Rearranged my room. You guys get to see new posters now for the rest of the recording.
Nice. I like the Jaws one. I like Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws is good.
You know how like when you're a child and you're so bored you rearrange your bedroom?
Yeah.
I did that to my second bedroom. Where are we?
3 for 3. Nice. 3 out of 4 representing.
Oh, I can fall asleep and then we do representing. So
son of a bitch.
on Twitter, there's a thing.
This guy just watched that boring ass ghost story movies in there, like typing a diatribe on Twitter, but he's gonna tell me Jaws is boring. Get out of here with that shit.
Hey, if you guys want to know boring, let me tell you about James Bond. Welcome to Golden Cast.
Oh, no. So
Joe stole my idea of what I would do over quarantine. He just started doing it. Like that was
Did
my
you
thing.
say that?
Yeah, that was like when we were picking way back when we weren't taking anything seriously, and we were just talking about what the movie franchise we were gonna pick to watch on quarantine. I picked Bond, so now I don't have to. I'll just follow your tweet thread.
Yeah, man. Maybe it just subconsciously sat in my brain.
So the trend that we're talking about on Twitter that everybody's doing from fast food restaurants all the way to movies is that you can only keep 3. So there was a good tweet that inspired this. But we thought that the movie choices were kind of easy, kind of bland, with the exception of a few that we kept. So we wanted to liven it up, actually make it hard, and adding implications behind each of the ones that you leave behind. TJ through magic is gonna put it up over our beautiful faces right now. So don't be scared.
Our lineup here.
Yeah.
We wanted not only movies that were popular, but that felt like they had an impact and represented their respective decades. And
yes. So obviously, the first one that we picked, the one that would have the most implications, is Star Wars, the original one. If you leave it behind, that means there will be no Star Wars, and possibly the age of the blockbuster. Or you can argue that Jaws is actually what set it off, but the age of the blockbuster would go away. The second one that we picked is the Avengers. The reason why we picked the Avengers is that interconnectivity, that world building to have that universe really was set up behind Avengers, and then everybody's tried to do the same thing afterwards.
Had an actual impact on the film industry.
Yes. Yeah. The third one, we picked it, 1, because it's fucking amazing. 2, it ushered in pretty much the CGI era. And
one of the few good picks on that original, like, this is one we didn't change. We hung on to it.
And one of Spielberg's best.
Yes. Yeah. And we actually eliminated another Spielberg based on why we love Jurassic Park so much. Jurassic Park.
Try not to repeat directors again. We worked on this thing for you guys.
Yeah,
we put our brains to work to improve this game and make it better.
We put in the work.
We sweated our asses off. So the second one is
respect the game.
Is fandom. Fuck you, fandom. Yeah, trying to copy our Skype. The second one, the first one on the second line is drenched in nostalgia, but it also ushered in the average Joe action hero, which is Die Hard, Bruce Willis. Next up is Toy Story, which ushered in Pixar. Like without Toy Story, we wouldn't have all this amazing.
Toy Story 4, we wouldn't have Forky.
No Incredibles.
We wouldn't have Cars 3. So, third one in the second row.
And which Joe pointed out he thinks is the dark horse here.
Is the dark horse. It's the weird pick, but I think we needed one to represent the 2000s. And what else than arguably the best Coen Brothers movie? It won Best Picture. It gave us one of the best villains of all time.
It's also one of those movies that's like artsy but still considered very cool. You know what I mean? Like it plays both ways.
Got it.
And talking about artsy but considered cool, first one on the third row, the one that ushered in. I keep saying usher in, and
I was going to say you got to drink every time it says ushered in.
It's a new catchphrase.
This episode is sponsored by Usher. It's Pulp Fiction. It brought in that indie wave where everybody pretended to like indie movies for a while. Studios started banking on Sundance movies and
how many Tarantino knockoffs have we watched just on this show?
Yeah,
lucky number 7.
Yeah, second on that third tier is what many argue is the birth of what we're currently living in, and that is the superhero universe that we're drenched in. Spiderman, Sam Raimi, Tobey
McFarlane, remember?
Yeah. Tobey Maguire, a 45-year-old man playing a high school student with abs.
He does not look that old in that movie.
No, he's fully 28 though.
And lastly, one of the best movies of all time, Back to the Future, drenched in nostalgia. Everybody loves it. It created this love for cinema once again in the late 80s that you can argue inspired Spielberg because he's one of the producers to make more blockbusters in that same vein, and everybody tried to copy that feel-good movie, but at the same time make a shit ton of money.
Did we want to, before we get into this, is there any honorable mentions? Because I know, like, we talked about Ghostbusters getting on here. Raiders of the Lost Ark almost got on here.
Ghostbusters, Raiders. I was heavily pushing for Zodiac, but you guys very much pointed out that it is not as popular. I get that.
It's a great movie. It deserves to be on here quality-wise, but I don't think it meets the standard of, like, kind of, like, beloved, nostalgic,
you know what one I want to put on here for 90s babies? The Sandlot.
One could argue for a Beauty and the Beast or Lion King for animated Disney.
Fuck Disney.
Yeah, fuck Disney. But yeah, I don't think I feel like we're missing, now that I'm like reading over the list, we're missing horror. So a lot of people could argue for a horror pick.
We're also missing classic 90s theme comedy like Can't Hardly Wait. I just rewatched that. That's why
it would have to be American Pie if we didn't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
But like we said,
I think Animal House.
Yeah, we were trying to make it.
Rape doesn't happen in the others.
In American Pie?
Definitely not American.
There's a lie. It's great.
Violated for sure. Her privacy is violated.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a scene where a devil and an angel are on his shoulder going, "Just do it," and the devil's the one to be cool.
All right, so how about we start off what I want from the guys, and then I'll do it in the end as well. But since I've talked so much this entire time, I want to be the last one to pick. That way, everybody gets to shine because I'm an equal equal time share, not like Brian. So what I want from you, what I want from you guys, is give me your the three that you're gonna keep. You don't have to give me like specific reasonings because then we're gonna argue reasonings in the end. But give me the three that you're gonna pick. The one that was super easy for you to eliminate, and the one that was the hardest for you to eliminate. And we're gonna start off with my favorite ginger, Brian.
Ooh,
I love that.
Let's see. My pick three. No, this should come as no surprise. Original Star Wars. I mean, if it's that Empire never exists and Last Jedi never exists, then I need it. I got to keep Star Wars. So that was an easy one. Another, what I consider a pretty easy pick for me, one of my favorites of all time, Pulp Fiction. I'm still a fan. I don't, I still love it. I still think it's one of his best. The third pick has been tough, and we'll get into it a little more, when we're talking about the easier eliminations. But I thought I had this, and then I think it's going to be Jurassic Park. It's going to be my number 3. As far as the easiest one to eliminate, would it be Toy Story? I just don't have the connection to it. I was like 13 or 14 when Toy Story came out, so that doesn't register too much for me. And then as far as the hardest to eliminate, which any one of these could have been in Jurassic Park spot, either Avengers or No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. Nice. Joe, where did you land on your 3 and your 2?
Okay, so my 3 and my 2. We're not picking our ones yet?
No. Tell us all 3 of the ones you pick, and then tell us the easiest elimination and the hardest elimination.
Keep up, bro.
Wait.
Keep up, bro.
So, first choice, Jurassic Park. I just absolutely adore and love Jurassic Park. To me, that was the easiest one to keep. Then I decided to go. The second one I was going with was actually Back to the Future. It's just that fun ride. I think I could always fire it up. It's also the weirdest movie. If we're just going pure plot, it's the weirdest movie in this whole selection next to Pulp Fiction. Like when you just strip it down, like Back to the Future should not work. That's what I've always loved about Back to the Future. So those are the 2, and then the third one, and I surprised myself here. I'm deciding to go with Die Hard. If I'm keeping 3, I want a real difference in these movies, and I feel like Die Hard's going to bring this light action film that, once again, I know it's redundant, they're all rewatchable.
Yeah. This entire list is easily rewatchable. Yeah.
So the easiest one for this list to say no to was No Country for Old Men, and I think that's why. I think everyone on here has rewatchability. That one's more of if I'm feeling like to eat a steak and like a Wardsy, like a full 5-course meal, I'm watching No Country for Old Men, and that's not what I'm looking for.
I thought you were saying like you want to eat a steak while you're watching it.
Oh, you do that too.
Yeah,
but sure. It's like dense.
That feels right.
And then the hardest one for me to get off, like, I don't know, something about Star Wars I see on a list, I never think, I'm like, I usually don't choose it, even though I love Star Wars and the Avengers, is Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is a why I love movies movie. Like a lot of people.
That's my site.
That's the site.
You want me find
the name drop? Do that name drop.
That was the hardest one. An honorable mention to actually the first Spiderman, because that's one that was very like, and Toy Story 2, that was very like monumental to like growing up of like, oh shit, I like this. I remember the kickoff and seeing the difference of how that movie felt, and then seeing Spider-Man 2, which is superior, which I still stand by is tremendous, and I don't think anyone really could argue against that not being.
Well, are you ready to do it?
I know he can. He has before, but yeah. So Pulp Fiction was the hardest. I think so many people are picking Star Wars that it's gonna be there. Like
so, TJ. I mean, but in this scenario, you cannot see anything else because you're the one that you're gonna keep those 3. So
I get it. I get it, Judge.
What's up, my man?
Well, I'm going to take, what Joe thought was one that's going to be thrown away easily. It's probably one of my top 5 movies of all time. No Country for Old Men is one of the easiest choices of all these. Out of all of these choices, it's one of the easiest because it has one of the purest script writing you'll ever find. Just the scene with Antoine Jiguer and the guy in the gas station, and he's eating the pistachio, and he's talking about how he married into the business and he chokes on it. Just that scene alone makes that movie incredible.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into it, but I find No Country incredibly rewatchable too.
God, maybe I've only watched it once about 13 years ago, guys.
Nope, let's rake him over the coals, boys.
Fuck you, Joe. I'm breaking the rules. Let's argue against him right now.
Let's all argue. Fucking team up on Joe.
Yeah. America.
I'll take the second easiest one, which is Jurassic Park, because for me, growing up, I think I was in like 5th grade, going into 6th grade. You saw that movie in theaters. It embedded in your brain. Like, I'd go to the dentist's office. I had bad teeth growing up, and I'll sit there for 2 hours, and all I'd do is just replay every scene in my head because that's what you could do with that movie. It was just so ingrained into like pop culture from the day it came out till now. Third choice. I haven't made this decision yet. I'm looking at the list now. I know the easiest ones to knock off. I'm stuck between 2. Between these 2 is 2 monumental events. One of these is something that came out before I was born, but to now I can still put on every day. Unfortunately, I'm going to leave that one behind. I'm going to go with Avengers. I'm going to do Avengers as my third one. To this day, it is easily one of the most rewatchable superhero films. You could categorize it any way you want. Even Marvel.
The first one's good.
That's okay. That's fine. We're going to argue that in a minute.
It's fine.
Hey, Joe, we said no interrupting. Nobody interrupted you when you said your shitty take about No Country for Old Men.
Just Mark Ruffalo as Hulk alone is something that we could definitely argue about because it's incredible. Easiest one, you guys all know this one. You know what I'm going to say right now. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It's not good. The rewatchability isn't there. I understand where people think it's like one of this incredible hero movies that just like Avengers is a mark in history of what it can do, but maybe 20 years from now when you rewatch Avengers, like Joe was just saying, maybe it doesn't hold up. For me, Spider-Man absolutely does not hold up whatsoever. Even the storytelling and the comedy. Joe, what do you want?
Sir, do you happen to think like the 89 Batman is like still not good because time has passed?
No, because I think that's a time capsule movie just made Tim Burton, like Tim Burton's brain. You know what it's coming from. Sam Raimi
Spider-Man was made in Sam Raimi's brain, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, that template didn't exist.
No, it doesn't hold up in his brain though. Coming out today, like Tim Burton's Batman still holds up today.
Does it?
We can argue this in a minute. Okay.
So what was your hardest?
Hardest was Back to the Future.
Whoa.
No, that's the hardest. But for me, again, I'm gonna get more shit for this one. I think the second one's better than the first one because you get.
I like Back to the Future too, also.
Because you get the first film and then you get more of just this world building. Even it could be stupid. I don't give a shit. But the Biff Trump factor nowadays is just rings true.
That's on the second one.
Leah Thompson's boob job. That's what I'm talking about. The second one is better.
Leah Thompson's crazy boob job.
Like things like that. That's why Back to the Future rewatchability is great. For me, I
love that entire trilogy, but the best part about Back to the Future 2 is how they explain that if you change something in the past and you can't go to the same future, and then Biff goes to the past, changes the future, and goes to the same future and returns the car. But that's just that's cool. That's cool.
I feel like we're talking about
Don't think about it too much, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen all of them so many times, and I'm kind of showing my hands, but the easiest one.
It's your turn finally, Yusef. You held your tongue all this time.
The easiest one for me was Back to the Future. Like, that movie is pretty much the origin
it's
story.
Yusef's Jaws.
Yeah, it's my origin story. Like, is it literally easily? I've seen this movie 100 times. Like, and that's not even me exaggerating. You can ask my wife every now and again and go like, "Do you want to see Back to the Future?" And her eyes roll so far back to her head because she loves it, but obviously not as much as me. It's perfect writing, period. Like, it was nominated for an Oscar. The way that they foreshadow, I'm not gonna, This is not the point of the pick. All right, so the second one was kind of hard as well. I feel like the first one was the easiest one to pick. The second one I picked was Toy Story. It's hard for me to let go of Ratatouille, of WALL-E, of The Incredibles, which is arguably the best Fantastic Four movie ever made. It's and one obviously kind of forgets how groundbreaking Toy Story 1 was. I know that Brian didn't have that connection, but in terms of like animation, like they blew the doors open and their movies are beautiful.
Even the music.
Yeah, but that is not their most beautiful movie. Not even close.
No, but I'm saying like.
Nobody's saying.
I know what he's saying, but I'm just saying
Pixar's wouldn't
you don't look
exist.
back
But
and be
I
like,
just,
oh yeah, Sid's dog is really killing it. That thing's a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, Avengers isn't the prettiest Avengers movie. Just like Endgame's the prettiest. It's not the best.
That's true. And the third one.
Prettiest.
Yeah. And the third one is Star Wars. It's kind of hard for me not to pick Star Wars because, and I'm gonna. I mean, Star Wars explains itself, so I'm not gonna explain myself why I picked Star Wars. But because Brian kind of said it, also like it's kind of hard to like go Empire and all that stuff. And I love Last Jedi, and I had fun with The Force Awakens. And the Clone Wars animated series is fun. There's a shit ton of books.
Tartakovsky one, you mean?
Yeah. So the easiest one for me to let go was Pulp Fiction. The reason why, even though the movie is amazing, it's not his first, so we would still have Tarantino. Even if we let go of Pulp Fiction, we would possibly still have the Django. We would still have Kill Bill. We would still have whatever.
We wouldn't have Lucky Number 11.
Well, I was gonna say, but also we might not have those because Pulp Fiction is really what changed the trajectory of Tarantino's career.
I mean,
so
but
for sure say it would have gone in the same direction.
I'm not gonna say it's not gonna go in the same direction, but it wouldn't kill Tarantino. He started with Reservoir Dogs, and that's a fucking great movie on its own. It doesn't hold up as well as
maybe
Pulp
one of the
Fiction,
best debuts of all time.
Yeah. And the second one that was, and the hardest one, it was kind of a tie between Die Hard and Jurassic Park. It was easier to let go of Jurassic Park than Die Hard because the same reasoning I have for Pulp Fiction. Spielberg was pretty much a legend before Jurassic Park. I know I gave the reasoning of the CGI and all that stuff, but Die Hard is like, it was such a game changer for action movies.
But McTiernan still does Predator if there's no Die Hard.
I mean, yeah, but in
Predator
terms of,
came first, so
yeah. But I'm saying like the action, like we wouldn't have all these action stars right now. We wouldn't have Keanu Reeves without Die Hard. We wouldn't have, like John Statham. Even though he's ripped, he
John
didn't. Statham.
Yeah, John Stamos.
John Stamos, yeah. Jesse, Uncle. We wouldn't have Uncle Jesse without Die Hard. That's obvious. How could you not connect those two dots?
We wouldn't have people's personalities that were like, I like Die Hard, it's a Christmas movie, without Die Hard.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to have that. That's almost worth getting rid of Die Hard right there, is to never have to hear that conversation again.
Next year on Flyover State of Christmas.
So in summary, I picked Back to the Future, Toy Story, and Star Wars. TJ picked I'm like signaling for you to say them again.
No Country for Old Men, Avengers, and Jurassic Park.
Joe picked
Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Die Hard.
And Brian picked
Star Wars, Pulp Fiction, Jurassic Park. Well,
now
Jurassic Park went 3 out of 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So what's our average? Is there a 3 average we could pick from?
Yeah. So the highest average one is Jurassic Park. The least average one is Toy Story with Yusef, and Brian with Pulp Fiction, and me with No Country for Old Men.
Star Wars.
The second one is Back to the Future, right?
Yeah. Back to the Future is Joe and Yusef. So yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars got 2, Back to the Future got 2, so that's pretty much our Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Back to the Future is pretty much our team picks.
I want to argue this real fast. Go back to the
now we can argue.
Yeah, let's go back to the Raimi Tim Burton thing. what Raimi tried to do with Spider-Man was make it a real life thing. Like there's Macy Gray and there's all these different factors. Tim Burton's thing had nothing to do with the real world, so there's no holdover factor. Like you're gonna go back and watch Spider-Man, and it looks bad.
Why are we talking about the only movie that didn't get one single vote?
Because it's the one.
TJ just wants to keep fucking shoveling dirt over its dead body. He's like, and we're just like, leave it alone.
I'd rather
man.
talk to Joe about why he doesn't think Avengers deserves to be on here.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, go with that. And No Country for Old Men.
I agree with Joe. With Avengers, I feel that we've lost ourselves in the muck of everything has to be connected. Like every single Marvel has become. That's
the
because
Avengers
of fucking
and
Avengers.
they did it good. They're the only person who's done it good. Like they achieved it though. Like it's not their fault that they did it better than everyone else, and everyone else fucked up trying to follow their.
Listen, you guys.
I'm not saying it didn't work. I love that movie as well.
I view these
That's why I
as
didn't pick
the movies I like, and I like movies in the MCU. I like the MCU. I
like movies.
I just was never really a fan of the first Avengers movie. I saw it. I was like, I think I like it. I watched it 3 more times and went, yeah, I was right the first time. It's just okay. He's repairing a ship most of the movie. And it's fine. There's better MCU films that I'm putting this list.
The pacing is amazing. They pay off all the beats like that you needed it to pay off. You get your Hulk and Thor fight. You get your Iron Man, Thor, Captain America meet up.
First of all,
there's so many beats that it needed to pay off to be like effective and to give the fans what they've been waiting for. I think it's very good.
Guys, listen.
3 hour. Hold on. You came out of a 3 hour and 2 minute movie thinking it was one of the best things you ever seen in your life when it was a literal snooze fest until the last 30 minutes. And Avengers didn't do it for you?
But there were so many movies in between. I had all this build up to it. Like there was context to that.
Avengers had 7 movies of build up.
So did that.
It was iconic. Nothing like that had ever been done before.
The first Avengers is just a decent movie. I like it. It's where I stand with it. But also, like, guys, like, you know how old Roger Moore was when he was playing James Bond? Like, he was so fucking old. I'm sorry.
So I argued, I had an internal debate between Star Wars and Die Hard and I let Star Wars in because I feel like the only reason that I was debating is because I'm so fucking tired right now of Star Wars, and everything around Star Wars.
Don't let the rise of Skywalker ruin Star Wars for you.
It's also one of those things, like, I saw Star Wars growing up. It was fun. It was like something to escape in, but like, I was introduced to Return of the Jedi first, so I like Rancor. So when I go back and watch and all this and Ewoks and all these different creatures, when I go back and watch the first one, I go back and watch the first one. I'm like, oh, we have the sand people and all that shit. Like that's it. It's a little boring for me, so that's why I kind of just sat on the outside. I love the first 3 all together if I watch them together, but A New Hope, Empire, I can't do it. But I'm surprised Toy Story didn't get more love.
I just think
me too.
I just think there's so many to pick. Like that's the problem with these pick 3 and having 9 options.
Yeah,
I 6 are left on the cutting.
It's supposed to be hard.
I know. So
but the first one was so easy that Toy Story is one of my picks. So now when we put these more challenging options in there, Toy Story kind of falls off.
So guys, rapid fire.
So guys, leave your picks on the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe.
He's definitely gonna tweet out. We're gonna tweet this out so everybody can play along.
We love you.
But rapid fire, you have your top 3. What are the remainders? You have no time to think about it. Just read them off.
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, Yusuf.
What do you mean? And like rank them in order?
Yeah, but you're not thinking about it. You're just saying what's going to come first. Like I don't need to hear an explanation.
Jurassic Park, Die Hard, No Country, Pulp Fiction, Avengers, Spiderman.
Okay. Brian.
Yeah, No Country, Avengers, Die Hard, Spider-Man, Back to the Future,
TJ.
Toy Story
How
at the
dare
very
you!
bottom. Toy Story at the very bottom.
Okay.
No Country, Jurassic Park, Avengers, Back to the Future, Toy Story, Die Hard, Pulp Fiction, Spiderman at the very bottom. Star Wars right before Spider-Man. Sorry.
Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Die Hard,
But you
Toy
picked
Story.
the fuck, Joe?
I'm going in order. Back to the Future, Die Hard,
picked, and then all the way down.
Toy Story, Star Wars,
in the audience, man.
Pulp Fiction, No Country, Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man is at the bottom with 2 lists.
It's not good.
No, it is very good. Every
Only
movie on
3.
this list is good.
Every movie on this list is good.
All right, we had our fun. Thank you for playing along. This trend is actually legit fun on Twitter. One of the rare moments that I'm like not being a douche about it. Like pick 3. Like I'm having fun.
Yeah, this is this meme has not yet run its course, so we'll help it get there though.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Nick Cage one live right now while recording.
Play along on Twitter, on YouTube. Where can people find you, Brian?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Hercules, talking shit, being bummed out about Bernie dropping out of the race, and having to pick between my favorite rapists. So that's gonna be it's gonna be a fun election, guys.
It got real. Joe, where can the people find you? Are you also bummed about rapists?
Who isn't?
No, Joe's fine with rapists.
No, they're good. Solid people. You can find all the rapists at Chendinga 1. Retweeting my Nick Cage pick 3, which is doing fairly well. While you do this, go do that.
And TJ, where can the people find you?
You guys are on Flyover State of Film right now. You guys can check out our latest flyby between Yusuf and Joe doing Mandy and Color Out of Space. Our latest episode, Nothing is Sphere, episode 46 of Flyover State of Film. This will be dropping on Thursday, guys. Also, leave everything in the comments, subscribe, like, hit us also on Twitter with your responses, and enjoy.
While movies. Bye.
Bye.